In this student exercise lesson, we will focus on installations of a few packages of NGRX. You have the full solution of this exercise in our site, academies.com, EN course, Angular, NGRX, installing NGRX store. And you have in the site a step-by-step instruction about the commands and the code you need to write. You also have the full solution of this exercise on the right side. Remember, the way you learn coding technology is by writing code. So we have to write code to actually learn NGRX. This is what we're going to do in this student exercise. We are going to start a new Angular application using Angular CLI. We are then going to use the ng-add command to install the NGRX store package. We are also going to install a debugging package for NGRX using ng-add, a package called NGRX store-devtools. This package will allow us to install a Chrome extension called Redux DevTools, and using that extension, we can examine what NGRX is holding in the state. We are going to populate the NGRX state, and we are then going to use the Redux DevTools to inspect our state. We will start our student exercise by generating a new Angular application using Angular CLI. So open your terminal or DOS if you're on Windows and type npx Angular CLI latest and type new, and we'll name our project NGRX store install, and we're going to also add the minimal flag. The minimal flag is just going to create minimum amount of files so we can focus on the actual files that we need and not get confused with external template, external styles, test files, stuff that we're not going to focus in this exercise. We're also not going to focus on routing, so if you're asked if you want to add Angular routing, just type no. We're not going to focus on styles as well, so you can just select CSS as your styling. We'll wait a few seconds for our project to be created, and then we'll open our project in VS Code. Our next task is to set the change detection strategy on all our components to the OnPush change detection strategy. When you're working with NGRX, it's highly recommended that you set your entire component tree to OnPush change detection strategy. In fact, in the lesson article, we give a best practice tip how to set all your components to OnPush, plus enforce it with Angular CLI and enforce it with a lint rule. So it's recommended to also follow this best practice to set your entire component tree to OnPush. When you're working with NGRX, you get the data as observable. So it's easy to take that data and place it in the template using the async pipe. And it's also easy to change all your components to OnPush. NGRX has a lot of performance benefits, and those performance benefits will really shine if you set all your components to OnPush, plus use the NGRX selectors, which we'll cover in future lessons. So when working with NGRX, better set your entire component tree to the OnPush change detection strategy. In our case, it's only the app component. So let's change our components to OnPush change detection strategy. Let's go back to our IDE, and in the source folder, in the app folder, we have the app component, our root component. In here, we're going to import the change detection strategy, and we're going to add in the component decorator a change detection strategy OnPush. This sets the root component, the app component, to the OnPush change detection strategy. Again, in the best practice tip, I explain how you can set Angular CLI to generate new components with the OnPush, as well as how to enforce this with a lint rule. So I recommend that you also follow this best practice tip to make sure your entire component tree is set to OnPush. In our Angular project, let's install a few packages. We'll start by installing the NGRX store package. This is the main state management package of NGRX. And every NGRX packages has an easy ng-add installation command. So let's go back to our project and install NGRX store. I'll open the terminal and I'll type npx ng-add NGRX store latest. Basically, what the ng-add commands are doing, they are npm installing the package that we stated, NGRX store, plus if certain Angular files need to be changed, like for example, the NGRX store module need to be added, files will be changed in your Angular application to add the necessary modules. So would we like to proceed with the installation? Answer yes, and let's see the changes. After you install using ng-add command, npm install the NGRX store package, plus we see that the file app module is updated. And if we go to this file, we'll see that after we did the ng add, the command also installed the package NGRX store, but also changed our app module and added in the imports array the store module. So this installed the NGRX store package. Also, after this, let's install NGRX store-devtools package. This is a package we use to debug the NGRX state. So we'll go back to our code. When working with NGRX, you usually also include this debugging package. So we'll open the terminal again, but now do npx ng add NGRX store-devtools. Again, this will npm install and also add some changes to the app module to include the necessary modules. So let's proceed with the installation. And we see the app module is updated, and in the imports array, another module is added, the store-devtools modules. We use this package to debug our NGRX. This package allows us to examine our NGRX state as well as time travel, see how we got to that state, and it works with a Chrome extension that we can install now. So open your browser and then type in Google Redux DevTools extension. So to work with the debug NGRX store-devtools package, you need to install a Chrome extension called Redux DevTools. So we'll add this, we'll click Add to Chrome, we'll add this extension. And now if we examine our app, so let's go back to our code and let's do ngserve. ngserve will open our development server in port 4200. So after we install the package, we run ngserve, we go back to the browser. After we installed the Chrome extension, if we open the developer tools, we'll see a new tab is added that is named Redux. And with this tab, we can examine what our NGRX state looks like. And currently we have nothing in our state because we didn't add anything to our state. But we can see that in our packages, we now can have the NGRX state, which we installed in the NGRX store package, and also the store-devtools is also installed, which allows us to inspect the state using the Redux DevTools extension. Our next task will be to populate the state. To see that we can actually examine the state with Redux DevTools, we need to populate the state with some simple data. So let's go back to our project. Let's go back to the app module, and in the store module for root, in the first object, we'll add a counter, and the syntax will be a bit weird. We'll add a function that returns 0. Later in this chapter, in future lessons, we will learn about reducers returning the initial state, and probably this code will be a bit clearer. But for now, we're not going to focus on this code. We will cover it more in future lessons. After we add this code and we'll go back to our browser, we should see that our state is now populated with a counter of 0. We managed to populate the state plus examine the state with Redux DevTools. Good job, you just completed your first student exercise in the NGRX chapter. You have the full source code and solution in our site academies.com EN course Angular NGRX installing NGRX store. In our site you'll find a step-by-step solution to this exercise. You'll also find on the right the source code solution that you can examine and see our solution and compare it with yours. This is extremely important exercise since it's a prerequisite for any future exercises in the NGRX chapter. Meaning in the next exercise, we'll start from this point, from this exercise, and then move forward. So it's really important that you complete this exercise to follow along the next exercises that we will have in the NGRX chapter. That's it. Thank you for joining, and let's move on to the next lesson.